Your choice of browser is completely up to you. I prefer using Chrome. I would say I use it a good 80 to 90% of the time, probably followed by Mozilla, then Safari, then Internet Explorer. But again, I keep them all loaded because there are times where one browser just does it better than the other. And sometimes I can't figure out a rhyme or reason. But if you have more than one loaded, these, by the way, Chrome and Mozilla, you just type in to your search engine, download Google Chrome or download Firefox. And they're simple downloads, they don't take long, and you can install it. Of course, it's always going to ask, do you want to make this your default browser? And all that means is that when you click on a link or you follow a link, the browser that it uses is the default browser. And everyone wants to be the default because that's how they make their money. Use their browser, you get to see their advertisements, and that's how they make their money. So you can determine which one you like as your default. Like I said, I use Chrome, but you may have another preference. Speaking of preferences and settings, I'll just show you a couple that are a part of your browser, and I'll just point out the ones here in Google Chrome. And as always, accessing these settings is never the same from browser to browser, but they're really asking you similar questions. For Chrome, you head up to the three bars right here, and what I'm looking for is settings, which you can also find at the very bottom of the screen. And again, it depends on the browser itself, but I'm going to click on settings. Chrome will open up a separate tab, and then it's just going to ask me some um, standard questions that every browser wants to know. They may ask it in a variety of different ways, but these are all preferences. What works for you. Um, as you can see, I'm signed in with my personal Gmail account, but you don't have to. You can be signed in any way at all. You don't have to be signed in if you don't have a Gmail account. I'll talk more later on in another one of these sessions about Google, Gmail, and all the various applications that come with it and how they're all tied together. But you may not have a Google account or a personal Google account, and you may not want it to sync with anything. But that's what it's telling me right here. On startup, open up a specific set of pages, and I have set pages. One is the search engine, the other is ESPN Radio, as I like to listen to sports from time to time, and that just opens up automatically. You can open up a new tab, continue where I left off, which means it's going to leave whatever tabs were up when you closed, or specific pages, which again I like. Appearance, you can change the theme. Um, I want to say Google has more options when it comes to this sort of stuff than the others do, but I can't be sure about that. And my home button is Google, so when I click on home, this is where it takes me, www.google.com, which is that right there. And I always show the bookmarks bar. All of this up top is the bookmarks bar. All right, so which search engine do I want to use? I want to use and primarily use Google. And again, when you're talking about search engines, Bing, Yahoo, Google, Dogpile, I mean, search engines go on and on and on. I at one point looked up how many there were, and no one knows exactly, but there's a bunch of them. I find Google to be the most useful, or they still have indexed more of the World Wide Web than any other search engine, so their results are going to be bigger, which might not suit your purposes. You might want something with smaller results, and there are search engines that allow you to use um, various keys and so forth to reduce your results. Most of them just give you everything. It's a here you go. This your keywords match all of these websites at some point, and here you go. So you just get a ton, and you got to sort through it. And we can have a conversation more about the way you can use a search engine and sort of narrow down your results at some time in the future if there's the want or need for that. But again, I generally use Google, and at the bottom it tells me the default browser is Google Chrome. Every browser is going to ask for it. You get to determine which one you like the most. I'm going to stick with Chrome. There are advanced settings, and actually I will show you one more, or one of the advanced settings, as this is another thing that comes up. If there's something that you download, I've been told many times I have no idea where they go. Like, how do I know where they go? Well, you can define where that is, and in Google Chrome it's under Advanced Settings, and down towards the bottom you can see right here, Downloads, Download Location, C:/users/Simpson Index Desktop Downloads. And I created this Downloads folder that's on my desktop, so anything that I download, this is the location. This is it's a file path to this particular folder. I may explain this more at some time as well, talking about the file system and where things are stored. But this tells me exactly where it is. So if I've lost my files, I can't remember where they are, I can always come into Google Chrome Advanced Settings and find out where that path is. And I say, oh yes, I've got a downloads folder on the desktop. Mozilla does the same thing. I believe Internet Explorer will has this option now as well. You also have the checkbox, or I have this check to ask before downloading. So it's going to ask me, where do you want to download? This will be the default location, but I can then change that. If I just want it straight on my desktop, or I've got a folder, you know, buried within the file system that I want all of my downloads, I can choose that there. But this will tell you that's your file path. That will tell you where your folder is. So for internet access issues, generally multiple browsers are going to resolve a lot of them. You might find that because you're connected wirelessly and you don't have a strong connection, your data, or the rate the data is moving, is not fast enough to watch like a YouTube video or some other videos. And there's not a lot that you can do about that. That's the kind of thing that you could download those videos and watch them locally on your machine instead of trying to stream them. But in cases where your connection speed, or the pipe through which you're connecting, is not big enough, it's not going to matter what browser you use. You're just not moving data fast enough to watch those videos. But generally, if you use multiple browsers, flip back and forth, you are on the internet, you have an open roadway, you're going to be able to view and find all the resources that you want. You may not be able to find the resource that you want, but thanks to the internet and the multitude of resources that are available, you ought to be able to find something that you can want, or something that you want, something that you can use, I should say.